Peace, fam. It's your brother Cool. Traveling. I want to talk about today, the topic what I'm going to talk about today is state, mind state, and state of mind. I'm going to repeat that one more time. State, mind state, and state of mind. So the state in law means people. So when you hear state, it means people. When you hear the term country, it means people. Okay? So the state is involving people. And people have to come to a understanding that we are the people. We haven't been acting like the people for a long time. But we are the people. You know what I'm saying? We are the several states that was in session before the adoption of the United States, which took place in 1774 by Articles of Confederation. You see what I'm saying? So for the 13 colonies, right? Because they got brought into the Union. So the state being the people before 1774, which would be the Societas Republicae e Americanos Estados, which means the Republic Society, the Republic Societies of American States. You know what I'm saying? So understanding the government we were a part of before the adoption of the United States. We gotta know that we are the people. So that's the first thing at mind. State. State, state, state. You know what I'm saying? Even claiming to be, let's say for me example, if I'm claiming to be in Washington State. Washington State is a jurisdiction that exists on paper. Washington State didn't come into existence until about 1889. All right? So, correct me if I'm wrong on that. Last time I checked, I believe it was 1889. So, Washington State does not supersede the fact that my government was in existence prior to that. Like, what do you think Columbus discovered when he came over here? He ain't discovered just barren lands, nothing in place, no type of government, no type of structure, no type of system in place for people to coexist. If you really, really think that, you out to lunch. But besides the point on that. Next point is mind state. The mind state is when the people come of one accord. The people become of one accord. They become of one accord. And so when they become one, when they become a state, then they all together, because they're all hands-on. They're not just like leaning back and watching the show. They're hands-on. They're involved. You know what I'm saying? Then they become part of that great mind. You know what I'm saying? They become part of that great mind, and a manifestation of that great mind is an organization, a society, a jural society. You know what I mean? For example, Sunelshi Amaru Republic. You know, and the stigma that I feel is that that has been shared is that unless you are a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, then you're dishonoring the Prophet, and you should, you know what I'm saying, return your nationality card. Like, no, that's not the case. What the Prophet brought was a vehicle to help to re-educate us about who we are, so that we can take things into our own hands and do so. You know what I'm saying? So everything that's Moorish is the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Moorish Science Temple of America is, once again, an accumulation of the bodies. You don't have a Moorish Science Temple of America without people. Okay, so without people, there is no Moorish Science Temple of America. So you have to understand what comes first. People come first. The people who had knowledge of self and identified as Moors, who had a nationality, who had a national character, who had a heritage, a tradition, a customs, a way of doing things, a way of presenting laws to help govern themselves according to how they look at life. All that's Moorish Science Temple of America. Everything you do in the name of being a Moorish American with a good heart, you know what I'm saying, doing it in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, you are a Moorish American. Point blank, period. The first temple is the body. The first temple is self. Even for those brothers and sisters who are looking to go join a temple, you can't go join a temple if your temple ain't right first. It's all about you first. Then you can go in and, you know what I'm saying, spread and give your part in helping to uplift fallen humanity. Everybody got a role to play. You know what I'm saying? So every single one of us who practices the traditions of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, you know what I'm saying, are in love with the traditions and customs of our ancestors, who know who we are as people, who know we're not Negro, black, and colored, and who are unifying and making efforts to make things happen, to build as one organization, to build, understanding that religion is not in a dogmatic sense viewed like that by us. Religion is used to protect your unalienable rights. Religion means to go back to, all right, or to bind to. And if you look in the Oxford Dictionary, it means to go back to light. All right, so religion means to go back to light. So my interpretation of that, go back to being purity. Go back to the light. Light is white, so they say, right? It's pure. Go back to being pure. Go back to being authentic. Go back to being who you naturally are. You are a Moor. You don't have to become a Moor. You are a Moor. With a nationality card or not, you are a Moor. But I will say, if you're going to be a Moor, right? Because knowing you're a Moor is good. That means it's in the mind. Now be it. Be it. That's a whole different ballpark. To be it, to stand on it, to study. You know what I'm saying? So you can stand firm. So you know what it is you have to do. So you know how to respond to situations. So you know how to come together as a collective. You know how to operate. You know how to practice group economics. You know how to put funds together to save up for a good purpose. Like purchasing land. You know what I'm saying? Securing it under a trust. There's also other ways, like claiming land. But everyone wants to go for, you know what I'm saying, claiming mansions and stuff like that. There's a proper process for everything. All right, just going up in a house and squatting and just chilling there is not the way to do things. There's a process for everything. And every state territory that you are in domiciling is different. So it is up to you as a Moor. It is up to you as a Moor to go in as a scientist, to go in and figure it out. So you can be more solid on your square. You don't want to be shaking on your square. This is a Shark Tank out here, yo. Shark Tank. And every one of us that wake up every day is less food on their plate. So the United States Corporation Company and all of its agents is not playing. So if you're not on your square, they're going to eat you. Be yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. And that's where the mind state comes into play, because you have a state. Remember, state means people. So if you look at state in the sense of what it is, every organization you could think of is considered a state. YMCA, a golf club is considered a state. A motorcycle club is considered a state. A bowling team is considered a state. A basketball team is considered a state. A franchise. So the NBA is a state. The NFL is a state. Facebook is a state. At one point, MySpace was a state. All right? Instagram is a state now. So you have all these different states, which is just people agreeing to abide by certain rules, regulations to do a certain thing, to have access to a certain thing, to have protections of a certain thing, to have enjoyment of a certain thing. Whatever that thing may be. That's what it means to be part of a state. Like someone joining the Crips or someone joining the Bloods. That's a state. They have a flag. They have a color. They have habitual things they do together as a collective. They have certain laws they agree to go by. For instance, like if you're going to be put in, you have to be initiated in some form. You know what I'm saying? These are all laws. These are all laws. Or as you call them, constitutions. All right? So that's what makes a state a state. Even the fraternity and a sorority is a state. Look upon a fraternity and sorority and see if they don't got a constitution. I promise you they got a constitution on how everyone needs to conduct the laws they need to abide by being a part of this society or this state. You see what I'm saying? So you can be of one mind state. All right, so that's what a constitution does. Constitution brings people to one mind state. So if you are a Moor and you are not familiarized and well studied in the Zodiac Constitution, then you are not being a faithful member because you do not even know the laws of your own state. If you're claiming to be a Moor and be a part of the Moorish nation, then you should know the laws of your state. Constitution is the highest law, is the highest degree of law on the land. No state can violate any other state's constitution. It's supreme, validated, affirmed, and protected by treaties. You'll see no constitution on this planet without a treaty. Right? An agreement. Okay? You will see no constitution on this planet without a treaty in place before it, which AKA is a contract or a covenant. All right? So we got to get things straight. So that's what mind state is. It means being of one mind. Now you have state of mind. This is where things get a little weird. Okay? Because in your state of mind, the way the state of mind functions is that, first of all, there's different type of states within the mind, right? So when you're in a state of mind, you're not in the true mind. You're not in the true mind, nor are you a part of the manifestation of the true mind. You are actually outside of the true mind, looking in from an outward view. That's what a state of mind is. So this is why you have, and now I'm going to relate that to what you have today. For instance, out here, you have Washington Republic. Washington Republic would be the mind state, right? Then you have state of Washington. State of Washington, there's different variations of the state of Washington. There's different types of things happening within the state of Washington. None of it real life beings, all of it artificial. So there's different type of things, different type of businesses, different type of organizations, all right? Like I said, states, different type of organizations, different type of central communities, central governments, different type of things happening, okay? And this is all a state of mind is. So a state of mind is really a lot of things that are of the mind, but not the mind itself. Kind of like the United States of America. It's of America, but not America itself. All right, so you don't want to be in a state of mind, because a state of mind is not stable. A state of mind is not permanent. It's not fixed. All right, you want to be the state, and then you want to create and be a part of the mind state, not the state of mind, because the state of mind gets you caught up. The state of mind has nothing but 14th Amendment citizens. So not to say that the state of mind don't have its purpose, and if you realize I put the three because I'm trying to relate it to the Holy Trinity, Father, Mother, Child, you know what I'm saying, Christian version, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, you know what I mean, however other way you want to put that. Everything's based on three. It's a principle of three, and everything is subject to that law. Okay, so under an inner and overstanding that, you know what I'm saying, it's not hard to see how this game operates once you are studied. And yes, this whole thing is a game, because like I said, everything is artificial. Nothing is in real life. You may claim to have a nationality being a United States citizen, but just understand it's an artificial nationality. It's a corporate nationality. It's a nationality made for federal employees, also known as citizens. So everyone who's operating with a state ID, and mind you, I have to put myself in there. I'm guilty as such, but because at the time, that's where my comprehension was at. You know what I'm saying? But now I comprehend that the passport is what you need. You need a passport as a national. Okay, so you need your self-identification, and you need your national passport from the Department of State, so you can have that federal protection of your estate, while you self-identifying as a Moorish American, being aboriginal to this land, okay, ties you back into the Societas Republicae e Americanos Estados. All right, once again, which is confirmed in the Articles of Confederation, and also once again the Zodiac Constitution, which was published in the Library of Congress in 1947. Okay, so with that being said, you need to have your state citizenship, and to be a national is to be a member of a state. That's all it means when you say you're a national. It means you're a citizen of a state. You're a member of a state. All right, so we're nationals because we're members of the Moorish state. All right, the Moorish government, the Moorish federal government, right? The one in place before 1774, also known as the several states, right? Because you have the United States and then you have the several states. Because like I said, the United States, 1774 was 13 colonies. That was New York, Massachusetts, Virginia, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Delaware, you know, so on and so forth. Everything's not coming to my mind right now. But Virginia, Maryland, you know, etc., etc. So understanding that we are, and also if you want to tie this in, you can also look at Article 4, Section 2, Paragraph 1 of the American Constitution, 1791. You can look at that. Once again, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1. Also known as Paragraph 1 of the American Constitution, which specifically mentions the privileges and immunities, you know what I'm saying, of the citizens of the United States shall be the same as such of the citizens of the several states. The several states. What were the several states? You know what I'm saying? That's the major question. What were the several states? What were the several states? You know what I'm saying? If you're unaware that you were a citizen of the several states prior to the creation of the United States in 1774, then you don't know who you are. You must still think you black, Negro, colored, African American, which are also slave brands of the United States Corporation Company. not talking about organic United States. That joint went bye-bye. As a matter of fact, it really went bye-bye in 1789. You know what I'm saying? When they adopted a new form of government, but it was still based in republic. Then they straight up opted out and walked out of their seats. They pretty much said, I quit, and walked out. They abandoned ship in 1933. All right, when they took out the gold and silver, which is a violation of Article 6 of the Constitution, which states that only gold and silver shall be money and shall be used to pay off debts. We're not using gold and silver today, y'all. Like I can't take a five note, right? I can't take a 5 note and go cash that in at the bank and get 5 notes or $5 worth of silver or gold. They don't got silver and gold. They broke. They're insolvent. They're bankrupt. All right. So if you continue to be a part of something that's insolvent and bankrupt, all right. So the United States is not sovereign. You need to come up out the United States, both spiritually, and doing that spiritually, physically it'll take place, and then from there you can make your changes economically, financially. Right? You need to come out, get yourself right, then you can go back in. You see how Jesus or Yeshua had to go into the woods for 40 days and 40 nights to get his mind right, to get his body right, so he can do what? Go back in and do what needed to get done. The principle. Don't forget the principle. The principle is everything, so don't forget the principle. Okay? So everything you do as yourself, being a Moorish American, because Moors go way back. Moors have an ancient history. Okay? Moors have an ancient history. You know what I'm saying? The high priest of Anu. We have a very ancient history. We go way back. This ain't something that's just modern. What's modern today, yes, is the Moorish American. Right? Moors being Moors in America, but Moors, we are Moors. Wherever we're at, we're Moors. Regardless of whether we're in America or not, we're Moors. Okay? And the message the prophet brought was a universal message to all nations. But he came especially for the Moors over here in North America. All right? North, South, Central America. And what we call Ethiopia, which is really Kush. You see what I'm saying? So Ethiopians, Eritreans, all of those are Kushites. All of those people are Kushites. We over here on the North American side are the Hamites. We're the descendants of Ham. We're the descendants of the Father. The people over there are the descendants of the Son. You understand? So people are thinking we need to go over to Africa, so-called Africa over there, to get help. When we're their elders, they're looking at us over here like the ancestors. Like, when y'all gonna get this right? But we're looking at them like our ancestors over there. No, man. The mounds over here are older than any so-called stone or brick pyramid created. You have to start somewhere. Everything has to start from somewhere. You don't just go straight to bricks and stone. How about you start with dirt? You see how logical that is? That makes sense. You don't even have to question that. Absolutely. You start off with dirt. You build mounds first. What do you have over here? You have over here the mound builders. Yeah, ain't nobody talk about mound builders in Africa. Over there, you hear no one talk about no mound builders in Southeast and Northeast Africa. This is Northwest and Southwest Africa, also known as a Mexum. You see what I'm saying? This is a Mexum. This is a Mexum. We home, y'all. We Moors. We're the original peoples of this land. Everywhere. Not just in America. Everywhere. We're the original people. So it don't even matter what school of thought you subscribe to, because all those school of thought come from the same source. So it amazes me how, regardless of the fact, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, people will look, well, why do you look at yourself separate? I don't look at myself separate from the Moorish Science Temple of America. 1928, according to filing number 1010-5905, which is an ecclesiastical embodied corporate, according to how the Prophet established it, according to the Religious Corporation Act, and also according to the Hertz and Revised Statutes, chapter 32 and 36. You see, I don't play. So I know what the Prophet was doing according to how he filed the document. The Moorish Science Temple of America is an ecclesiastical body, politic and corporate. AKA, it is a state, a nation state. A nation state. Okay? A nation state. So under that nation, now you see many states. Okay? But that doesn't mean every state is supposed to be called temple number so-and-so. It's not about that. It's about internal. What's the message coming out? Is it in alignment? It's all about being in alignment. Showing praise, but also redefining ourselves in this new day and age. You have to redefine yourself in this new day and age. Tying yourself back to that illustrious Moorish flag. And that's not even the oldest flag. There's flags prior to that flag. I'm talking about the red flag with the 5-pointed green star. Prior to that, it was just a plain red flag. Prior to that, it was a white flag with a gold star. You see what I'm saying? So it was all about redefining ourselves within the time we were at, but still maintaining those traditions and customs that made our national character, right? Which made us who we were as people, which makes us what? A state. Because we are what? Of a mind state. We are of one mind state. We believe that we all should wear headdresses that show gratitude to our government. You know what I'm saying? However way we express it, but you know there's a form, there's a basis. You know what I'm saying? Various different types of headdresses. Even if you don't have a headdress, doesn't mean you're not a Moor. Your Moor is about your bloodline. It's about your bloodline. You can't, for example, I was telling this to a brother the other day, for example. If you are born, right, from your mother's womb, as a male, as a female, as a son, as a daughter, if you are born, I should say, when you were born from your mother's womb, as a son or as a daughter, did you have to become your mother's son or daughter? Did you have to become her son or daughter? Or were you already? Were you her son and daughter? Or did you have to go through some type of process to become her son? To become, you know what I'm saying, her son or daughter? No. You are. I am. I am more. You are more. It's not something you become. There isn't a process to become a more. You know what happens when you come into information and you start studying and you go into history and you start going into the laws and treaties and stuff like that? You know what you start doing? You start realizing, wow, this is my history. This is my culture. This is my story. You know what happens? You start to gravitate towards it. You know why? Because it's your story. Because everyone else got their story. Every other nation got their story. The Irish got their story. The Dutch got their story. The people of Normandy got their story. People of England got their story. People of Europe got their story. Paris, Italy, you know what I'm saying? Spain, Portugal, Greenland. They all have their story. And the only story that we have ever tied to is that we're black and African American slaves, you know what I'm saying, taken from Africa, and we're just trying to get back home. That's a pitiful story. That's a pitiful story. Just trying to make sure I'm at the right block. You know what I'm saying? And that we were brought over here on ships and stuff like that. That's a pitiful story. That's a pitiful, pitiful story. Our story is so vast and grand and illustrious. And once you start to see that, you start to remember, like, oh, wow, this is me. This is where I come from. Then from there, guess what? You start to make changes in your life. Like, you know what? My ancestors ate better than this. My ancestors thought better than this. My ancestors were thinking on a higher level. They were thinking on a higher path of doing bigger things. They weren't thinking minor. They weren't thinking about, material or like shallow things. Yes, we were thinking about material things, but material things to help the whole, to help the mind, to help the people, to help the state. So the state can prosper, right? We can get way more together than we can individually. So, like I said, we're all tied to the Moorish Science Temple of America. But even before the Moorish Science Temple of America is our original government, the several states. You know what I'm saying? The Prophet left us something beautiful. But we're supposed to take what he left, and after we're done studying and digesting what he left, go and take our place in the affairs of men. In the way that we deem fit, as long as we are in alignment and paying homage to our ancestors. Okay? By tradition, by habit, by culture, by custom. So just because, you know what I'm saying, I'm a citizen or a member, right? A citizen or member of Sunel Shi Amaru Republic, that doesn't mean I'm separate from the Moorish Science Temple of America. That doesn't mean I'm not operating according to the divine bylaws and constitution of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It doesn't mean I'm not being active in the divine and national movement of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know what I'm saying? Doing the study, doing the research, putting out the information. You know what I mean? Putting out the information so what? People can better themselves, so they can get more tied to themselves and who they are as a people. That's what it's about. So we can all stand on our square. Because there's tons of abandoned properties just sitting out in all the state territories. There's tons of abandoned property. You know why that property is abandoned? Because it's waiting for you to put it to use. If you see an abandoned property and it comes into your awareness, that's because it's waiting for you. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you. You understand what I'm saying? But you need to understand what land title is. And Prophet Drew Ali established, like, once again, the Moorish Science Temple of America, according to the Torrance title system for land registration. So when he talks about our vast estate, it's from north, south, Central America, across the Great Atlantis, into what they call so-called Ethiopia. He's not just saying that just to say that. That is our vast estate. That is our ecclesiastical estate. You know what I'm saying? The Moorish Science Temple of America is the original Vatican. So the Prophet wasn't joking when he's saying what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do anything else, declare your nationality. Because that puts you back in the trust of the Prophet, who's placing you back into the Societas Republicae Americanos Estados, which is your government. That's what the Prophet's placing you back or veering you back in the direction of. Your government. Before 1774. You ain't get the memo yet? That's why he said we lost our nationality in 1774. You don't get it? Because we stopped being part of the several states. We abandoned our seats. We left. I don't know what happened. Maybe we got tired. Or maybe we just got tired of fighting with each other because there's a half of us who didn't want to deal with the Europeans the Caucasians, and there's another half of us who did. That's what you would call the Civil War, right? Which took place in around the 1850s. So, man, there's levels to this, yo. But the state of mind is like schizo. It changes, all right? State of minds are not, they're very dicey. They're very dicey. They're not firm. They don't keep you grounded. They can change. They can change. So you want to go back to being a part of your state. And self-identifying. Self-identification is the fundamental criteria. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to say that one more time. I'm going to say that one more time. So, what's the reason why the Prophet would instruct the Moors to create a national ID? Why would he manifest the idea of creating some form of self-identification? Why self-identification? Why didn't he say just go to the DOL or the state and get a state ID? Why did he choose to make a separate ID? Separate. That had your free national name and title on there. Why? You see what I'm saying? Why? Why did he not just say just go to DOL? All right? So once again, self-identification is the fundamental criteria to activate or kick in rights of indigenous peoples, which gives us access right to general laws, which supersede rights of indigenous peoples, because general law means ancient laws from ancient times that are still active as of today, like treaties, okay, like the Articles of Confederation, like the Zodiac Constitution, like the Divine Constitution and bylaws. All these are active laws that are still active and in place today. Nothing has changed except our state of mind. You see how that works? The state of mind always changes, man. You don't want to be in a state of mind. You want to be in a state and then a mind state. Once you get into your state, then you got access to the mind state. All right. And that's all I want to speak on that, family. Oh, and by the way, from this point forward, I'm going to be focusing way more on my other channel, all right, my workshop channel. If you go to YouTube and type in Sunel University, all right, it's the first link that pops up. You see the seal, all right, for the school as well as the government. Also, it's in the description box. So if you go into the description box, you will see the link to the paid subscription channel. All right, now it's a 14-day free trial. It's $19.99 a month. Okay, so I'm not trying to break people's pocket, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to make it in a way where everyone can have access to this information. Because this is a school. I don't know if, I treat this like it's a school, because I really go in and I study, and I'm not afraid to correct myself if I'm wrong. If I come across the later studies and it's wrong, I'm not afraid to correct myself. All right? It's not the end of the world. As you learn, you grow like a plant. You know what I'm saying? So what I'll be doing from this point forward is I'll be focusing way more on my workshop page, which goes deep into how-tos. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how to create affidavits, the process of doing things like claiming your nationality. You know what I'm saying? Like in mind first and then in document form, how to put it in document form. You know what I'm saying? Things you need, things you can create yourself. So this is what I'll be focusing on. So once again, just go to the description box. The name of the page is Sunel University. All right, so the link is there. So subscribe onto there. You know what I mean? And because that's where I'm going to be getting busy. All right, going into various how-tos, how to properly fill out WA BEN form, SS4 form, how to properly go and open up a bank account in the name of your trust without utilizing a social security, doing it the right way, not the slave way. You know what I'm saying? Because the Prophet said, do business in your free national name. So, doing business in your free national name. right? So your estate is protected. So that's what it boils down to. So, it's I'm your brother Cool. Once again, catch me now on the subscription channel. I'll still put things out on this page gradually, but majority of my focus will now be on the school. Full force in terms of putting out the workshops. So thank you for your energy. I appreciate all y'all, for y'all support. I'm glad the information has been helpful to y'all. And I will continue to keep doing what I do. Because we all have a part to do in uplifting fallen humanity. All right, which is the Asiatic woman. So let's get busy. All right, fam. It's your brother Cool. Peace.